Before I proceed with this video, I must warn you, I might be here for quite some time, so by all means, if you just want to skip ahead to the part where I personally talk about what I believe is going to be the best investments for this week, look in the description, scroll down, look at all the chapters, specifically look for the conclusion chapter, alright? Might only be about 5 minutes then, we'll see. So good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're alright, because it's time for the predictions video. Yep, not too many skins this week, and well, as you can see here, first 24 hours of sales have happened, and it's looking like it's pretty low sales. And you might sit there and say, oh, okay then. So does that make things a little bit more interesting? Yes, very much so, yeah. So of course, we're going to go ahead and try and figure out of all these skins, which of them potentially could be the best investment for this week. Which of these skins might help us walk away with some sweet, delicious looking profit. So sit back, relax. It's yapping time. So, of course, last week it was the force wipe for August 2026, but now, second week of August, the sales do appear to have dropped off. I mean, well, first two skins, perfectly fine. Everything else, wow. Now, the prices of some of these skins, yeah, that's definitely a factor. That's definitely a factor. So, but no, I am surprised to see certain skins just not really selling that much. So, okay, cool. Again, I'm not complaining. If you're a Ruskin investor, you don't really need to complain. All the better for these skins to rise up in price in the future if you were to see interesting collection continuations. So, alright, cool. Now, before we proceed to, properly start yapping about all the skins, if you're going to get a good look at them, please consider watching the rest rotation video for August 13, 2026. Not only do we have a nice showcase of all the skins, but we've also got a nice little showcase of All Rats' Twitch drop AK-47. He spent $30,000 to win that auction, the charity auction, and now it's on the workshop. When will it be available? We don't actually know yet. So you can learn a whole lot more about that. All the chapters are there. You get the idea. Right then, let's go ahead and take a look at the current sales. So it is a little bit later, after 24 hours. It's about 25, 26 hours. And yeah, hasn't really progressed that much more. So, at first glance, with the possibility that we could see some interesting collection continuations. So let's just get this in our heads. Salvation Assault Rifle. If you aren't fully well aware, it's made by Slanosta. He's the man behind the Redemption Collection. I'm sure many of you are fully well aware that the Redemption Collection's very successful, with a lot of skins that got accepted, and it just so happens to be very in demand. So if I could just quickly navigate over to here. As you can see, SCMM still hasn't updated. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But yeah, pretty much every single skin here is in the positive. They are appreciated. They are adored. So imagine this whole collection, but blue. That's what we're now expecting with the proposed potential Salvation Collection, alright? So you've got interesting things like that. But you've also got the likes of the hoodie from Hell, pants from Hell. Don't you think we're going to get tier 2 from Hell? Don't you think we're going to get tier 3 from Hell? In fact, are people asking for that? Let's go find out. So I go to the comment section. I can see there's comments. Okay. That man did not like the From Hell skins. Okay, so let me just tell you. I was not anticipating that. Anyway, should have checked beforehand. With what we see there, one guy really doesn't happen to like the From Hell collection, but I'm sure a lot of other people do. It is a very successful collection, one of the largest in all of Rust, and as you'll notice, that's a lot of acceptances, but not exactly everything has worked out perfectly fine. In the past, a lot of these skins initially were listed at high prices. If you're quite surprised to see the hoodie pants were selling for $3 a piece, multiples upon multiples of deplorables in the past were listed at $4 a piece. That's not out of the ordinary. So again, when we eventually see tier 2 and tier 3 being posted, hopefully, don't be surprised if they're also quite expensive, right? Maybe tier 2, with it being free skins, that might be $2.49 each. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's looking promising with the potential of collection continuations. Last week, we literally just saw a bucket helmet being accepted. But these, they weren't submitted by themselves, no. There's actually continuations on the workshop right now that could appear next week. So automatically they're in a very interesting spot. The first ever Popstar clothing armor skin to be accepted. Another Popstar skin has been accepted overall, of course. But does that actually open the door for a whole batch of clothing and armor? HellCore, still hoping for tier 2 and tier 3. Boots and gloves, sorry. I'm so used to constantly hoping for tier 3. We got it in the end, but now I'm sitting here hoping for tier 2. If we at least got tier 2, I'd be happy. But in the wait for tier 2, we've had a jacket skin, a head wrap skin, and now a bucket helmet. I don't know what the skin creator needs to do. I would really like to see the tier 2, but now I've got a bucket helmet. And after the discussion last week in regards to whether people are actually using bucket helmets more, considering the buffs, considering the fact that it's now cheaper to make bucket helmets, it really doesn't come across that people are actually using them that much more. Which, yes, would be concerning. Because if people aren't actually using the item itself that much, where's the justification to own the skins? So, oh dear, oh no. So, alright, cool. Right then, so that was just a nice quick little teaser, little taster. Let's go through all these skins now, talk about the potential positives, and then of course towards the end of this video we'll have the conclusion. I'll talk about what I personally believe will be the best investments for the week. Starting off with the Pirate Small Backpack. Okay, first of all, it's another small backpack. Initially, I will sit here and say I'm a bit hesitant, purely based on the fact that it's a brand new Skinnable. However, after quite a few interesting points, with some interesting comments with last week's free small backpacks right here, quite a lot of people were pointing out to me, Hedge, it's so much easier to get small backpacks. But then countering that, a lot of people were telling me, Hedge, large backpacks get used so much more. Okay, fair enough. But you know what? I just want to kind of quickly point this out to all of you. So if I could just quickly look at large backpacks. Don't worry, it's still in reference to Pirate Collection. Scroll. The first few initial skins that came out with the large backpacks 2 years ago, they sold absurd amounts. They, right now, aren't exactly doing very well, are they? No. But we also saw Blackout Backpack. And right now, that's doing good. And that did 54,000 subscribers. Yes, that's an absurd amount. But it's doing good. And here's another thing I want to quickly point out to all of you. As time went on, I kept noticing when times were good, black backpacks were actually being appreciated. So, yeah, we've got Legacy Kevlar here, also doing good. Training Backpack, also doing good. Scroll. Pirate Backpack, there you go. That's doing good. Black Diamond, Black Gold, I mean, you're slipping a little bit. That's unfortunate. But do you notice that these are appreciated? Now, Pirate Backpack, large backpack, just to clarify. This right here is actually doing very, very nice. And this appeared last year, literally like, oh, here we go, about 10 months ago. This, how much did you sell? That did just under 18,000 subscribers. At the current rate of sales, the small backpack could potentially match up to this. It might even surpass it, okay? But what I want to get across to you is, the Pirate Collection, initially when it first came out, all the clothing armor skins sold absurdly. So if you're a little bit worried about, oh no, maybe the small backpack might sell a little bit too much, don't even bother bringing that up. Tier 3, hoodie and pants, boots and gloves, you name it, all of it, it's all quite a lot. Well, actually, tier 3, hoodie and pants, tier 2. Roadside gloves appeared later on, still to 30,000 subscribers. And then, of course, last year, as a super late pick, we got the boots, and those only did 13,000 subscribers. But the initial batch, the initial core pieces, 40,000 plus, 40,000 plus, 40,000 plus. The kilt has 50,000 plus. But with it being a blackout alternative option, aka a black clothing and armor set that came out after Blackout Collection, as you can see, even though it's sold absurd amounts, it still has worked out absolutely fine. Now, it has been 3 years since it first initially came out, and initially for the first year it was looking a bit but as time has gone on, it has been appreciated. It is an in-demand collection, and it just keeps getting more and more skins accepted. Pirate Small Backpack, by default, I'm actually looking at that like instantly. I look at that positively. But I will also respect we've got a lot of small backpacks potentially on the horizon. With all the brand new Skinnables we've seen so far in 2026, we have seen quite a lot of skins being accepted for them. SKS, Electric Furnace, we've also had quite a lot of auto turrets all of a sudden, you know. I really wouldn't be surprised in the slightest that we end up seeing a lot of small backpacks for the remainder of this year. we still have batches of Twitch drops and kick drops to go through as well. Be prepared for such a thing. So I reckon, initially, it might have a few hiccups. It might struggle to retain value. But by this time next year, I really wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if this also doubles in price. So again, Pirate Backpack, only 18,000 subscribers, yet right now, triple in price. $1.49 it sold for, $4.50 it is now on the Steam market. And again, you're going to probably debate and sit there and say, yeah, but Hedge, people use large backpacks a whole lot more. Or I'm probably going to get another opinion, someone saying, oh no, Hedge, people use small backpacks a whole lot more. At the end of the day, the collection's in demand. All the clothing armor pieces are doing good, and I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Later on, in the further future, so it might be a long-term prospect, that small backpack will work out fine. My only concern is if we potentially see a blackout small backpack being accepted at some point in the future, and yet even then, I still expect that to do perfectly fine. So let's say next month we saw a blackout small backpack. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that dips. But again, by next year, whether it's post-Christmas or the summer of 2027, I expect to see that in the positive. So, long-term prospect, yes. So right then, that's looking pretty good. All about the Salvation Assault Rifle. So by default, again, another transparent aim sight pay-to-win AK-47 skin. As you can see right here. And of course, if you want to get a much better look, consider watching the rust rotation video. I do like a nice little comparison with Redemption. Now, the Redemption AK-47, that wasn't a pay-to-win aim sight. But recently, we have seen the Valkyrie AK-47. We have literally just seen last week, Young Dragon AK-47. But what we also potentially have on the horizon, and again, I'm not sure when specifically, but it's there, it's available, and it will be happening soon enough. We have Oral Rats' Emerald, Green, AK-47. There's a short video right here, but it's not loading. It's not loading for some reason. Whatever. So, yes, we have a very nice looking AK-47 on the horizon. Although quite a lot of people are sitting there and saying they don't happen to like it. Differing tastes, differing opinions. But you're going to get that for absolutely free. At some point, probably within the next 2 months. That's my expectation at the moment. So, alright. Are we going to have problems with this? Probably. But you know what? Out of all the AK-47 skins in existence, what nice blue ones have we seen recently? Well, automatically you're going to remember we have the Hedge and Frost AK-47. With the very nice extra bit of transparency as well. Which we're also going to see with the Allrats AK-47, by the way. Anyway, aside from that, I mean, maybe you could sit there and say you're a fan of the full AK-47. Anything else? Anything else? To be honest with you, looks like blue AK-47s aren't exactly very common. Yeah, you've had some interesting designs like further back in the past, but even then the marketable ones aren't exactly doing super great, are they? So, focusing what we have here, especially with the prospect that we could see this turn into a collection, which right now, as you notice, there's already other skins in the workshop. I honestly believe it will be happening. I honestly believe as we end up seeing a few more weapon skins, I think the skin creators will then consider doing some clothing and armor. I think we're going to eventually be able to have red versus blue. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I will remind you, Redemption Collection initially did start off as a weapon-only collection. Even back then, those skins were in demand. People liked them. People appreciated them. The real question is, though, is this going to be a pay-to-win transparent aim sight weapon collection? Are we going to see them being accepted somewhat frequently? But you know what? Let's also bring this up. How many Redemption skins have we seen so far this year? So, of course, I will remind them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those were a pair at the same time, but point still remains. Even though this collection initially started, how many years ago? 3 years ago. We're still seeing frequent acceptances. Now, I'm not sure if this is suddenly going to slow down now, and more focus would be put into Salvation, with more acceptances in Salvation. Like, we'll see if that is going to be the case. But I'm just pointing out, this has proven to be a very successful collection, and I expect the exact same thing with this potentially, and it definitely gets me very curious. It definitely gets me very interested. But then again, $4. But then again, if that was $2, it'll probably be selling twice as much right now. So, okay. A lack of sales definitely puts it in a much more interesting position, but the higher price puts it in a bit of an awkward spot as well, because it has to try its best to retain that value. We do have October on the horizon. September, October, November. Oh, the dreaded autumn fall seasonal dip. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that does dip over the course of October time. But that just might be sitting at around $3 potentially. Now again, if we also happen to get the Allrats Twitch drop AK-47 out at the same time as well during that period of time, yeah, that could be some pretty bad times for this. But that would also mean great time to jump in and grab some. If you personally believe we're going to see a pretty interesting collection being built up from here, I think we might want to jump in. Now, of course, I like to be patient. I like to wait until next Wednesday. I want to do my abnormal barters first. But I think I would be buying some. I'm too curious. I'm too invested. But yeah, redemption worked out perfectly fine for me. I think I'm perfectly fine to look at that with positivity. Eye Salvaged Axe. So we got this interesting situation going on. It's not the first time it's happened, but you might recall we got an Eye Salvaged Ice pick in the past, and yes, it's gone up in price. As you'll see over to here, this is sitting here about $5.50. Yep, I can confirm. And yes, it's gone up in price as of recent because we just got its counterpart. We just got the Salvaged Axe being accepted. Now, by default, this was already doing good. And let's also remind everybody, how much did you sell? Almost 18,000 subscribers, okay? The Salvaged Axe does not look as if it's going to match up to those sales. No. Maybe at best around 10,000 subscribers. Okay, that's fine. But what have we seen happen recently? We've seen other Salvaged Axes come out that were also counterparts to ice picks that were accepted last year. And as you might notice, well, that's doing quite alright. This isn't. Weirdly, this was actually doing quite alright for a while. What suddenly caused this to drop off? Were you being pumped? Let's go ahead and take a look. No, the price isn't up to date on Rust Help. That's weird. So yeah, this is actually sitting here currently at about $5. Yeah. Now again, this sold significantly less compared to the prototype ice pick. So if I could just quickly remind everybody, Salvaged Ice Pick, you'll see the notable collections from the past. So yep, as you'll see, we've got prototype ice pick right there. We've got Eye Salvaged Ice Pick right there. We've got Gold Chains Ice Pick right there. 24,000 subscribers, 18,000 subscribers. This only got 8,700. But yeah, doesn't really matter that much because still doing good. Now again, in terms of actual sales, it does look as if that's the case, but it also isn't exactly selling that much. Either way, it's still in a much better position, simply because it sold significantly less compared to its counterpart, the ice pick. So, point I'm trying to get across is, with our brand new Eye Salvaged Axe, I think it actually might work out quite alright. I'm just not sure if it's going to be like very, very profitable. Like, okay, it might retain quite nicely. It might actually work out reasonably like over the course of the next few weeks. But by the time we go for October, I still expect it to drop off. So maybe it could be a lot better off with just a barter, basically. Yeah. But if this does reach up to about 10,000 subscribers, I mean, there would be a lot more of them available. And in comparison to the ice pick, whilst it still would be less, you're still likely to see quite a lot of these appear in the Steam market if the price potentially gets a little bit too high. AKA, if it doesn't appear to have any listings below like $5 at one point, other people might notice. And when more and more people keep listing, suddenly the price is down. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, simply due to the fact that it's likely to sell less compared to the ice pick, I do believe that could actually retain and do quite nicely. Now, hoodie patch from Hell. I know they're quite pricey, but even then, I am looking at them with positivity. And I will remind everybody that the hoodie and pants were not submitted by themselves. We also had the boots at the same time. But then, a short while later, we also saw tactical gloves being posted. And now I've just noticed an electric furnace has been posted as well. I would have preferred clothing and armor, but hey, alright, more the merrier. But yes, if we were to see these tactical gloves and boots being accepted, I believe those hoodie and pants will be spiking price ever so nice. And I will remind everybody here as well, From Hell skins do get accepted during Halloween. In fact, the collection initially started off as a Halloween collection skin. But then the skin creator decided to submit during the other parts of the year, and he still got accepted. So that's why we still see From Hell skins being accepted every now and then. And I am expecting, eventually, Tier 2 and Tier 3, hopefully within the next 2 months. Maybe just in time for Halloween 2026. So if I feel optimistic that we are going to see the continuations, right? And if these aren't selling that much, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Again, we might have to wait a while because, as you notice, with the past two, with the most recent submissions, he's posted deplorables. Maybe he already had them prepared, and now he's going to focus trying to get Tier 2 or Tier 3 made. Hopefully. So, doesn't glow in the dark if you're concerned about that. And again, if you want to get a good look at them, consider watching the Rust rotation video. There you go. But, yeah, at the very least, we have the bucket helmet to go with it. I think we need Tier 2 and Tier 3, though. So, yes, as we go for October time, I won't be surprised if it suffers. But if we do see Tier 2 or Tier 3 just before that, I think it'll be surviving the Autumn Fall seasonal dip perfectly fine. And again, sheer lack of sales at the moment. We'll see how it goes. But I am optimistic. Chrome Runner BBQ, it's actually a very nice, interesting design. It's got an interesting sort of colour scheme, a sheen, if you will. And lit up at night time, it does look pretty cool. With its transparency, you do get the nice sort of like lighting pattern here, especially with the barbed wire. But honestly, with the amount of barbecues we've seen so far this year, I'm not exactly frothing at the mouth. In fact, look at all of that. Look at all of that. One skin is in the positive. I did say this a little bit earlier. With all these recent brand new Skinnables, we have seen quite a lot of skins being accepted. Well, guess what happens when you see far too many of those skins being accepted? Dun dun dun. So, yeah, nice looking skin. Interesting collection, I guess you could say. But even though it's not selling that much, I'm still a bit concerned. So, I'll leave that be. Babylon Armored Double Door. Well, you know what? Let's just bring this up. Out of all the Armored Double Doors, this actually could be one of the lowest selling ones. So if I could quickly switch over to here. If I could search for Armored Double Door. The reason why I search on SCMM quite a lot is because by default, I can easily navigate like filters and whatnot. And by default, it showcases all of them from newest acceptances to like oldest and whatnot. Anyway. Lowest subscribers, yep, you might recall some of the older skins like Jester and Hellwalker, but Pixel Armored Double Door, that came out like 2 years ago. It's only slightly in the positive. It only did 7,500 subscribers. In fact, please take note. It does look as if the vast majority of these Armored Double Door skins have worked out quite nicely. But again, if we were to look at Armored Double Doors, earlier this year, it was the focused item of the month, right? And unfortunately, with a lot of skins being accepted, some of those skins did suffer. Some of them did stand out and worked out perfectly fine. Do you believe this is a skin that stands out a lot? Or do you believe that might get lost in the shuffle? I don't think we're going to see another Armored Double Door skin being accepted for quite some time. In fact, probably won't happen until next year. Unless we see something cool for Halloween or Christmas, we shall see. But I'm doubting it, alright? But more specifically, that in itself, the Babylon Armored Double Door, that in itself is a collection continuation. So with that arriving, yes, the Sheet Metal has managed to go back up to its Rust price. But it did have to wait a while, didn't it? Yeah. That was struggling and suffering for a while. But you? I don't think you'll be struggling and suffering if we don't happen to see another acceptance for a while, or potentially ever. I do believe that'll actually retain quite nicely. But if you're looking for a nice profitable skin, I don't think you're going to see anything like that for a while. Again, this is going to probably at best reach up to about 10,000 subscribers. It does look as if it will be one of the lowest selling Armored Double Doors in the game. But is it an actual super appealing design, or is it just kind of there? Maybe it ends up in the positive, but only up by about 10%. I don't think people will be frothing at the mouth for the likes of that. You can comment below your own thoughts. I think I might just be better off with a barger in that particular instance. Popstar bucket helmet. Right, so I had quite a few people in my chat yesterday. They're like, Hedge, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if people aren't using the bucket helmets that much, you know, if you're hoping for justifications and all that. It's a Popstar skin. That'll carry it. Maybe. Maybe. It is the cutest and most colourful looking bucket helmet we've seen like, ever, I guess you could say. Like, compared to all the other skins from the past, I mean, you did have Super Happy Bucket, Sunrise and whatnot. But, you know, it's an anime clothing and armour piece. And I can't help but assume that actually might work out perfectly fine. I can't help but assume, again, yeah, maybe the Popstar collection would carry it. And at some point, I think the skin creator is going to try again for other bits of clothing and armour. If you don't fully remember, they tried to do tier 3 armour. Didn't exactly work out. Some people didn't instantly take a liking to it. I know for a fact if that was accepted, everybody would want to wear that and just roam around and say such horrible things to each other. That's the face that's going to rage you. Anyway, maybe that gets redone, we'll see. But with the prospect of more clothing armor skins in the future, maybe that works out nicely. We shall see. But again, are people going to be clamoring to get a bucket helmet to then skin it to this? Are people going to be clamoring just to get a bucket helmet to have this skin? I don't know. But as a fun, goofy, silly design, oh yeah, I think a lot of people would appreciate that. I think a lot of people would like that. I think that'd be a fun, casual, stupid, silly skin to roam around with. Well, it's not stupid, it's cute, it's nice. But you know what I'm saying. So, for a fun skin, alright, I think a lot of people will be taking a liking of that. But this is going to probably at best reach around 8,000 subscribers. Yeah, quite a fair bit less compared to 10,000. That actually might work out in its favour. And again, normally, we don't really see that many bucket helmet skins being accepted, do we? No. I don't think we're going to see anything like this for the foreseeable future. But I will remind everybody here, Hazma bucket helmet is on the workshop as well. So if I could just quickly hop over to here, showcase that to you real quickly. I mean, you got sharks, you got frogs, you got that. But you've also got Hazma right here, and she will eat your head. She will eat your head, yes, yes. So, alright, cool. In regards to that, I don't think it's going to be super profitable, but I might still grab a few just in case, because you never know. Popstar has been very successful this year. Maybe I still need to jump in. We'll see. Monsters turret. Part of the Monsters collection, which is actually a lot bigger than this. There's actually quite a lot more skins than what you see here. And I do have a nice little showcase of this Monsters collection in right here. Yep. So with what we have here, it is just another auto turret. It doesn't glow in the dark. It's a nice colourful design. I do like the graffiti style. But this very likely could potentially be one of the lowest selling auto turret skins we've ever seen. And, well, we are seeing quite a lot of these skins being accepted now. And I'm starting to notice the repercussions. Look at the prices starting to drop off now. Ooh. Even Popstar slightly below its roster price. No! So, yeah. Unfortunately, with so many skins being accepted in such a short amount of time, they're all starting to suffer. And I'm very sorry to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be one of the ones that suffers. Now, chances are, maybe over the course of the next few weeks, we'll see a resurgence of the Monsters Deplorable collection. I'd like to see it. There's a lot more recent Deplorables that just became skinnable that could get some very interesting monster graffiti style skins. But with that in particular, I'm not feeling very confident. So, we'll see how that goes. And in regards to HellCore Bucket Helmet, to be honest with you, not exactly surprised to see it's the lowest selling skin. Again, who here is itching to use a bucket helmet? Who's like frothing at the mouth to run and get this made as soon as possible? It's got an interesting bit of transparency, I'll give props to that. But HellCore Collection wants to see tier 2 and boots and gloves. Yes, they are in the workshop. They are in the workshop. Why aren't they in the rest stores? I don't know. It's not what people are looking for and hoping for, and now we're in this weird position of, well, I don't think people are going to go super crazy for this. And if you could just look at the recent skins, so here's the head wrap, sold next to nothing, already down by a quarter of its price. HellCore jacket, well, it was quite valuable. It's a $3.49 skin. It has dipped, but with all due respect, that's probably just because it's such a high price. But the point still remains, we're starting to notice prices dropping off, aren't we? We need to see tier 2 or boots and gloves. If we don't see anything like that, it's just going to suffer. I don't think this is going to hold up. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if it goes down in price. It really wouldn't surprise me. So, well, that's a nice, reasonable run through of all the skins. Took about 30 minutes, but it was a little bit more in depth, a little bit more explanatory. Let's now talk about some other things before we have the conclusion. Over to here, player count, it's all right. It could be better. It's not terrible. It's not the best. It's fine. It's satisfactory. Now, of course, I will bring up, I recently posted this video, Summer Peaks 2026. So, of course, we've been rubbing our hands. We've been hoping, praying for the possibility that as we go through August time, prices would improve. Well, honestly, it does look as if prices have improved, just maybe not as much as what we were actually hoping for. So if you were to go to SKINNABLE.app, you can go hop over and take a look at the market cap section. I'll let that load for a second. But you could get like a nice insight in regards to how everything's currently performing in the Rust economy as a whole. Now, recently, the market cap has reached over 200 million, which is good, because when we went through the June dip, it went down by about 10%. It's kind of lingering around 190 million. Right now, still there, still holding up. As you'll see in the past 30 days, it's been moving up. And if I were to use the Pirate Collection as an example, how's everything been performing in the past 30 days? Positive. Now, some of the skins, not exactly as good. That's a bit unfortunate. But if you see skins performing like this, where in the past 30 days they've been doing very, very nice, that would be a good indicator to consider selling, right? So, case in point, you can see the Pirate Face Mask in the past month has gone up by about 11%, 11 to 12%. Yeah, that seems like a perfectly fine thing to consider selling. Because, of course, as we go through October, inevitably, the prices will drop off. So whilst the prices are doing a little bit better, whilst they're doing, reaching close to their all-time high prices, or potentially right now they actually are. Let's go take a look at the face mask here. Yeah, let's go take a look at you. Are you reaching your all-time high price? Let's just confirm. Because if it is, yeah, I would recommend selling. You might sit there and say, but Hedge, if I wait till post-Christmas, I could sell it for more. True, but the idea is sell now, buy again in 2 months' time, in October time, and then sell again during post-Christmas, during January 2027. Sell now, get profit. We've said profit, buy it again for a cheaper price, still have some profit, and then when it's January time in about 4 months' time, boom, you've then sold it for a profit again. And then buy again during the Easter dip. And then sell during the May rise, because that's a new thing we have to be aware of now. Prices rise up in May and then dip in June for some reason. So yeah, it's getting very close to its all-time high price. It's still going up. If you really wanted to sell your Pirate Face Mask right now, I wouldn't say no. I think it's a perfectly fine time to consider doing so, if you want to. So yeah, start looking around. And the market cap section on SCMM is very, very helpful to get like that nice insight. I could look up Island Assault, for example. Let's get a quick look at this. So Island Assault, quite a lot of the skins doing very nice, but some of them not so much. Now again, let's also point this out as well. As we go through October time, if you were to search up a lot of skins on here on the market cap, by then you'll see a lot of skins in the red, in the negative in the past 30 days. That will be then a good indicator to consider buying the skins. All right. So if you're looking at lots of positive and green in the past 30 days, good time to consider selling. But if you see the complete opposite, good time to consider buying. Now you know. So yeah, we do talk about that quite a lot in this video. It does go on for quite a long time, but there's lots of chapters. You can easily see what I talk about with each particular portion of the video. You could just skip ahead to the parts that might interest you. So alright, cool. Anything else to address? Well, aside from this, keep an eye on the commits from here and now. Interesting things are now being mentioned. Funnily enough, yeah, last night when we had the Rust rotation, I didn't see that much, but now I'm seeing the return of the glass AK-47 being mentioned. I am now expecting that this could potentially be the DLC for September. We'll see. I'm sure Protox will potentially have like a nice showcase of this soon enough. I'm sure it'll be on the staging soon enough. But what we can confirm is that wood armor has been mentioned again, and it does appear to be the next brand new Skinnable. We were actually looking forward to some clothing armor becoming skinnable, and well, there you go. Wood armor. That includes the chest, the helmet, the legs, and of course the hands. All of it. What wood armor skins would you like to see? Are you using wood armor enough? Potentially, that might be what you want to use with the bucket helmet. We might be getting from hell wood armor. It wouldn't surprise me. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Right, anyway, so yep, that appears to be the brand new Skinnable for September. What interesting ideas would you like to see? What collections would you like to see making skins for this? Feel free below. I could also confirm with the Twitch drops, it's completely over, done. That needs to be updated. I'm pretty sure it has gone over 400,000. It's been incredibly slow to update towards the end. But yes, this finished on the 13th of August, aka when the rust rotated. And I hope you managed to get all these skins here. I know some people had some weird issues with this. It was an issue found out with Face Punch as well. Basically, there's actually like a limit for how long a Twitch drop can drop on Twitch. It's a month. And this event went on for 6 weeks. Oh dear. So initially, these 3 skins in particular, they were available early on, weren't they? But a month into this event, that limit's passed. So when I suddenly start getting a lot of messages on people on YouTube telling me, Hedge, how come I can't get the backpack? What's going on? Well, the month passed. Face Punch did not know this was a thing. So I guess in the future they're going to have to be a lot more aware of that. But yeah, unfortunately, if you did not race to get this as soon as possible, and don't complain at me, right? You had a whole month. You had a whole month to get this sorted. Are you honestly going to sit there and tell me you don't watch anyone on Twitch at all playing Rust? So anyway, yeah, unfortunately, quite a significant portion of people missed out. Specifically the backpack, it seems. But it is what it is, you know. So, well, that was all nice. It's expected over $400,000 was raised. And if I could go over to here to the Tiltify, you can see plenty of campaigns were set up. I don't know why Firefox is so slow today. I sincerely apologise. Should have had this prepared. I know. But yes, overall, a lot of people took part, had their own special little sub-categories, fundraisers. Even I did. And I'd like to sit here and say thank you to all the people that contributed. What is going on here? I have no idea. Look at that. It's so slow. What's going on? All right, so yes. Lots of money raised. Props to all the people, especially to the people who donated through me as well. My little campaign, we raised over $650. Thank you so much if you're one of those people. You're incredibly generous. You're incredibly kind. Even if it was just a little amount, every little helps, right? Even if it was just a little amount, every little helps. That's right. Cool. Right then. Consider watching that short video to get a good look at the brand new proposed Twitch drop. I mean, proposed, it's right there. Ta-da! But again, I don't know what's going on with the next batch of Twitch drops. I'm not sure if Face Punch is going to race to get another homebrew sorted as soon as possible. I think the Global Warfare Twitch drops were the August Twitch drops. So now we anticipate what's going to happen for September. But if you did see the recent tweets from Playrust Twitter, it looks like they're asking everybody, who's your favourite content creator? Which probably implies another homebrew batch of Twitch drops might be happening soon enough. So keep an eye out. I'm sure we're going to find out soon enough. More Twitch drops on the horizon. And I do believe with the next batch of Twitch drops, All Rats will be one of the people dropping their skins. So cool. We'll see. Right, is that everything that needs to be said? Well, let's also bring up with this Rust store, the vast majority, or rather pretty much every single skin in this Rust store wasn't submitted the past weekend, but the weekend before that. AKA in the Rust Workshop skin... Oh, well, there at the bottom. Sorry about that. In the Rust Workshop skin checks, not the recent one, but the week before. Yes, every single skin in this current Rust store is right here. And if you want to get a good idea for what potentially could be accepted in the next Rust store, well, I think all you need to do is consider watching my most recent Rust Workshop skin checks video. So yep, that's the most recent collection. Not a single skin here has been accepted so far, but the most likely answer is you're going to probably see at least 10 of these being accepted for next week's Rust store. And if you want to get a good idea of all the collection continuations, if you want to hear me yap about them and talk about the prospects of potential investments and whatnot, consider watching the Rust Workshop Skin Checks right here for August 11, 2026. All the collection continuations are listed right there. They're all chaptered. So, cool. You can easily skip ahead to the ones that interest you. So, right, that's cool. Let's also bring up with last week's skins. What did Hedge buy? Because, of course, with last week's skins, we actually had a pretty interesting batch. I was all over that Thompson with last week's predictions video, wasn't I? I did buy in. But as time passed, I also realised the Rainbow Pony shopfront was also looking quite interesting. An in-demand collection, a lack of sales, yeah, a recipe for potential success. So if I switch over to here and showcase to you that I did in fact buy 50 of the Valkyrie Thompsons, 50 of the Redemption Large Backpacks, and 30 of the Rainbow Pony shopfronts, I felt pretty confident. Let's hope everything works out perfectly fine. But you can see me figure it all out as you watch the Ruskin Abnormal Barders video. If you're new to this, just consider watching the first 5 minutes, skip ahead to the Barders chapter, and then listen in as I talk about all the skins with the Abnormal Barder support. You can slowly see me figuring it out as I realise, you know what, these skins look as if they could work out as nice investments. I'm going to go buy them. But with the other skins, I have justifications as to why I don't feel so confident in buying into them. So, yeah, might be helpful, might be insightful. It's up to you. And now, it is time to go ahead and figure out of all these skins then, which ones do I truly believe are the best investments for the week? It's time for the conclusion. So, as I've already addressed, these are low sales. That does make things interesting. So, of course, if we were to see collection continuations, you could expect these to bounce up. A nice spike of demand, spike of price. But inevitably, in 2 months' time, it will be October. And based on behaviour we have seen for like the past 5 or so years, it is expected pretty much every single skin in Rust will drop down and reach a rock bottom low price. Okay? But that'd be a great time to buy in. Ooh. But you have to take that into consideration, because if you're going to consider buying these or doing a good buy order, you might get dumped on with that buy order. You might notice the price of these skins dropping off. Oh no, what a shame. But afterwards, we then get closer and closer to Christmas time, post-Christmas time, that being January time. And during that period of time, December and January, you tend to see all skins rise back up and reach brand new all-time high prices. Even better than summertime. So if I'm to look at all these skins and to consider potentially short-term and somewhat long-term, post-Christmas term, I reckon potentially the most reliable skin this week probably is going to be the Pirate Small Backpack. And you might sit there and say, what? But last week you just kept talking about how small backpacks are probably problematic. You know, they're brand new skinnable. Are people even using them enough? Ha ha ha. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a black backpack. All the large black backpacks have worked out very nicely. Now, you might question how often you use a small backpack in comparison to a large backpack, but I wouldn't be surprised if the behaviour continues. I would be surprised if we potentially have a Legacy Kevlar small backpack, a Black Gold backpack, a Blackout backpack eventually as well. Specifically speaking, small backpack. Even then, I expect all of them to work out nicely. Alright? Maybe this might dip initially if we were to eventually see the Blackout small backpack, and come on now, you know it's going to appear. You know it's going to happen. But long term, considering the great success of this collection, and the fact that it's just so in demand and whatnot, I truly believe that will actually work out quite alright. A strong estimate, I reckon that's going to reach around 20,000 subscribers. That'll be around the same amount as the large backpack. And that large backpack, it tripled in price. Don't believe me? Well, look again. Look for it right here. Sold for $1.49. Now it's listed on the Steam market at $4.44. As much as you might complain about the possibility that the small backpack might sell a little bit too much in comparison to the previous clothing armor skins, all these clothing armor skins, the core pieces, tier 3, tier 2, hoodie and pants, they did like 40,000 plus subscribers. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that, okay? So honestly, long term specifically, I see that working out very nicely. If I were to buy a bunch of these and wait until next summer, so the summer of 2027, I can't help but assume I reckon that might double in price. Now again, if we ended up with like 10 small backpacks that were black, so again, Legacy Kevlar, You could potentially have Dragon Rage. You could potentially have, let's see here, Tire Collection. You know, there's a lot of options out there. They could appear. Even then, I still think it would hold up and do quite all right. But I do expect it to suffer as we go through October time. But, you know, if I got the money, I'd just buy it and sit and wait. You know, I'd just sit and wait. I'm fine. I don't think everybody here can do that. So, long term, I feel confident. Now, with the prospect of a brand new collection, I look at Salvation Assault Rifle and I look at that with a lot of positivity. Now, we really better hope to see an actual collection spawning off from this, because as of recent, we have seen quite a lot of pay-to-win AK-47 skins being accepted. We recently had the $3 Valkyrie AK-47. We literally, last week, just had the Young Dragon. The $3.49 Young Dragon AK-47 being accepted, you know. And we also have, potentially on the horizon, this being given away for absolutely free. And yes, it has even more transparency compared to the Salvation AK-47. But after seeing the success of Redemption Collection, you know, after seeing so much of it in the green and in the positive and working out ever so nicely, like, I wouldn't be surprised, considering it's the exact same skin creator, I really wouldn't be surprised that we do end up getting a lot of blue counterparts for what we saw with the Redemption Collection. And people really did like that collection. Again, we'll hop over to here. For such a red collection, it's strange how in the green it is. So, again, I expect to see everything you see here become blue in the near future. Alright? It might end up initially being a weapon-only collection. Well, Redemption started off like that, and even then all those skins were in the green initially. And then eventually at some point, Salvation Tier 3, Tier 2, hoodie pants potentially, we'll see. But as you'll notice, yeah, that's doing very good. Right, so in the hands of the Redemption skin creator, I do believe that will work out all right. I do believe we'll be seeing continuations in the near future. Yes, it's $4, but also with that being $4, I'm pretty sure it's also scared off a lot of people from wanting to buy tons of them, right? That very likely might end up around 20,000 subscribers. That's fine. That's reasonable. And with such a nice shiny blue design, I do believe it's very unique compared to a lot of other AK-47s that exist. And I can't help but assume, I say it quite a lot, even though we see tons upon tons upon tons upon tons of AK-47s being accepted pretty much every year, after a good year or so, there's always at least a few that end up in the positive and work out very nicely. I do believe Salvation AK-47 will be one of those AK-47s that appeared in 2026. In theory, I'd assume the same with Optimized and Young Dragon and, well, of course, you know, Valkyrie. We'll see how it goes. They're all paid to win. But let's also acknowledge they are cheaper compared to Salvation as well. So, we'll see how it goes. Maybe might just be better off with a buy order. You know what? That might be the safer approach. But I could still just buy some. And I feel like in the further future, I expect to see more of those skins being accepted potentially. And again, we should also point out there are other Salvation skins in the workshop right now. They might have to be resubmitted though. So, we'll see what happens. So yeah, I look at that with positivity. But you kind of have to have the faith that it does end up getting more acceptances, okay? With that notion, hoodie and pants from Hell, they're hardly selling anything. Yes, they're $3 a piece, but with the success of the Hell collection, and at the fact that I even expect to see from Hell Tier 2 and Tier 3 being available during Halloween and still potentially being accepted, I do believe with the success it's had, we will eventually see the Tier 2 and the Tier 3. I do look at both of these with positivity, and the lack of sales definitely makes it look a whole lot more interesting. So yes, we need to see continuations. Well, guess what? On the workshop right now, there's already continuations available. As you'll see after here, tactical gloves, boots. If those get accepted next week, or the week after, yes, the hoodie and pants are going to spike them on, spike in price oh so nicely. Alright? I'm looking forward to the prospect. I do believe that'll work out nicely. I think I'll be buying some. And then, well, I guess the wild card will be the Popstar bucket helmet. You're not exactly selling that much. You are a Popstar skin. It's doing very well for itself. And I guess that could open the door for potentially, who knows, maybe quite a lot of other clothing armor skins. Perhaps maybe some wood armor. Yep, brand new skinnable. So we'll see what happens next. Again, I have been asking people, have you noticed more people using bucket helmets? Are you actively trying to use bucket helmets, skin them and whatnot? I'm not 100% sure there's enough justification to want to use bucket helmets, but even then, with it being a Popstar skin and it's not selling that much either, that could still likely work out quite nicely, simply because it's part of this collection. The collection could carry it. And it's a very fun, pleasant, goofy, colourful design. If people want to roam around just wearing something goofy, I think that might be the choice. All right? And again, possibility of more clothing armor skins in the future. I think that could give it a nice boost. So, okay, that's your wild card. Now again, with all the other skins, some of them did have some positives about them, such as the Salvaged Axe and the Armored Double Door. But small backpack, AK-47, clothing, I feel like they're the more reliable options. And again, the wild card, not fully 100% sure about it. Popstar bucket helmet does look to be quite appealing in itself. So right then, that's pretty much everything. I hope the conclusion was a reasonable wrap up. You can comment below if you thought I was fast enough and explanatory enough. But if you want to get like a more in-depth explanation, if you just skipped ahead to the conclusion, I mean, there's another 40-ish minutes right there. So skip back to the chapters where I specifically talk about these skins, listen in. You're basically going to hear the same thing again, but a little bit more in like explanatory. But yeah, the lack of sales is definitely making things a whole lot more appealing, and I'm looking forward to doing the abnormal barders. That, of course, being next week. So who knows what skins get accepted next week? Who knows when the next batch of Twitch drops or kick drops are going to happen? But these are some interesting looking designs. It's a pretty good looking Rust store. Feel free to comment below right now, out of all these skins, which one is your most favourite? And so of that, that's pretty much everything. Keep an eye out in the workshop over the course of this weekend. I'm sure we're going to see some very interesting designs. I'm sure we're going to see some very interesting potential collection continuations. You can simply go to microfighter2.com, click date submitted once, see all the newest submissions, see what gets posted, maybe wait until at least Monday, then start looking. Or at the very least, just look yourself, you know. Look and see what potentially will be accepted. And as I said, with the pattern behaviour we've seen recently, if you want to get an actual good idea of what potentially might be accepted in the very next Rust store, do consider watching the Rust Workshop skin checks for August 11, 2026. Chances are it's just going to be skins that we saw being submitted this most recent past weekend. So yeah, there you go. There's the video. All the chapters are there. All the collection continuations are there. Done. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye.